Hey, what's up, everybody? Ralph here. So today's topic, I want to talk to you guys about how you can save money and pay off credit card debt at the same time. And not just credit card debt, but any kind of debt for that matter. Because I know for a lot of people, like, debt can be overwhelming, and trying to save at the same time could be a struggle. So, sometimes what it takes is just a little bit of organization, a little structure, and then also coming up with a plan on how to do this. And from coming from personal experience, I understand how difficult that can be. But once you structure and organize your way and then come up with a plan on how you go about that, it becomes a little bit much more easier. So in this video, I'm just going to provide for you a simple couple steps on how to go about doing that. Right. So now the first thing you want to do is you want to figure out your cash flow situation. Right. You need to know how much money is coming in as opposed to what's going out. Okay, and what I mean by that is like how much do you make at your work? So how much income do you make? And what I mean by income is it's basically net. All right, I don't want to worry about your gross. So income that goes right into your directly into your bank account. So I want to know how much money is coming in and how much money is going out. So you need to calculate all your expenses. Okay, and for to keep it simple, let's say you make $5,000, right? And let's say your expense is about $4,000. Now, if it's not, basically, if you're spending more than you make, then it's going to be kind of hard for you to do this because you don't have any savings. Okay, so you want to make sure you do two things. If you're spending more than you make, you want to do one or two things, or both. You need to reduce your expenses as much as possible, or you need to get a second job and create more income. Okay. So, and this is just for people that are spending more than you make. But let's say for simplicity's sake, if you're making $5,000 and then your expenses are $4,000, that means you got $1,000 left over to save and spend and to pay off debt with. So that's something you can work with. If it's smaller than that, obviously you got to figure out how to reduce expenses or get a second job. But let's just go with that example. So once you got your cash flow situation handled, and you have some savings left over, now it's time to come up with a goal. And that first goal you want to do is you want to create an emergency fund. Now, typically emergency funds are usually 3 to 6 months, right, of expenses. So let's say you have your expenses every month is $2,000. Then you want to have anywhere from $6,000 to $12,000 saved up in case of emergency. But for your situation now, since we're working on that, we want to focus on just getting $1,000 into that emergency fund, because according to reports, I think about half of Americans don't have $1,000 in their account if there was an emergency. So basically, if any emergency came up, 50% of Americans don't have $1,000 in their emergency to cover that emergency. So what people do, they use their credit card. So it's important to have an emergency fund, even if it's for $1,000. Obviously, you want the 3 to 6 months, but for now, if it's just even $1,000, you want to at least get started with that. And then once you got that established, then you can build up to the 3 to 6 months. But for now, we're just going to focus on the $1,000. So after you have your cash flow situation settled, then we just want to go into that $1,000. Want to focus on building up that $1,000 emergency fund. So the good thing is, like I said, you have the $5,000 coming in, you have $4,000 in expenses. That means you have $1,000 of money saved up. So you can attack it both ways. If you want to knock it out in 1 month, then you could put a whole $1,000 that first month to replenish your emergency fund. But let's say you want to do that over 2-3 months. So all you got to do is divide that $1,000 by the amount of months it takes for you to replenish that. So if you want to do it in 2 months, then obviously you're going to need $500 that first month, $500 the second month. And once you're done with the emergency fund, you have that full at the 1,000. Then the next step is to attack the credit card debt. Okay. Now, this obviously, not knowing your finance situation, it's going to be difficult to exactly come up with that plan. But let's say you have one credit card. Okay, once you got the emergency filled up and you have $1,000 saved up every month, you want to attack that credit card very aggressively, or whatever debt you're talking about aggressively. If it's just the one credit card, then make sure every month that $1,000 is going to that credit card until it's paid off. Now, if you're someone with multiple credit cards, then you have two methods you want to use. Okay, you can either, let's say you have 3 credit cards. You can either use the method where you're attacking the credit card with the highest interest rate, which is costing you the most amount of money every month, or you can go after the credit card with the lower balance. All right. Now, if you've heard of these methods, obviously one is the Avalanche Method and one is the Snowball Method. All right. The Avalanche Method is when you're attacking debt with the highest interest rate, and the Snowball Method is you're attacking the debt with the lowest balance, and then you move your way up to the highest balance. All right. So either way works for you. I mean, it can work. It depends on how you psychologically, what makes you feel better. Some people like paying off the smaller debts first, but either way, either method works. So depending on the method you choose, I'll leave that up to you. Okay, so you want to make sure you're attacking that debt, and every month, let's say you're attacking that. If you have 3 credit cards, $1,000 every month is going, and obviously in your expenses, you're making sure that your minimum payments are being met. But that $1,000 is going to one credit card. Boom, you're paying that off every month, and then once that credit card is done, then you're taking that $1,000 plus, let's say the minimum payment that you're paying on that last credit card you just paid off, and then you're attacking the second debt, and until that's paid off, and then you take that money that you saved up and you attack the third debt until it's all gone. Okay, so you want to attack it just like you want to attack it in that way. You want to make sure you're going step by each credit card, about step by step until they're all gone. And this is going to take a while depending on how much debt you have, but this is how you want to go about it. So you either go about it with the highest interest rate, or go the one with the lowest balance until they're all gone. Now, and basically what you just did there, after those steps, so basically the first step is basically figuring out your cash flow situation. Okay. Second step, creating that emergency fund. Third step, you want to attack the debt aggressively. Okay. And basically what you just did there is created a budget without even knowing. Like, a lot of people don't like that word, a budget, because it's so boring. But what I like to do is call it like a spending plan. But in order to really get your finances, or you need to have a budget. It's necessary. There's no other way around it. You need to understand how much money is coming in and how much money is coming out. So it's important to have a budget, and then doing it, and there's different ways of doing it. There's different tools, online tools, and you can do it manually. It depends on what you're comfortable with. For me, one tool I use is mint.com. It's an amazing tool. You can put all your information there. You can put in your accounts and put all your money account information in it, and it puts everything in front of you. It's basically a map of your financial situation, and it's a good thing to see, because a lot of people, one thing people struggle with is seeing the overall picture of their financial situation. Some people just have bank accounts and they say, oh, I have money in that account, so they're like, oh, I can spend whatever I need. But they're not knowing that they're overspending. What having a program like Mint does for you is you get to see how your income, if your expenses are going up, and you get to see that in front of you and say, okay, you know what, I'm going in the wrong direction. It's almost like if you're someone that's trying to get your weight in order, you need to go on a scale to see where you're going, right? If you're exercising every week, you're eating, and you see the scale going up, then you need to readjust that. At least you can see what you're doing wrong, and you say, okay, I need to adjust my diet, or I need to adjust my workout routine. So that's what Mint is. You're seeing that. And there's other programs like that. There's other programs. Mint is not the only one, but it's just the one I use. So it's basically, you see that in front of you, and you're seeing like if your income is going up, you see if your expenses are going up, and and it gives you an idea of what's going on with your situation financially. And I think that's what most people need to see in order to really get their finances in order. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how you should go about breaking it down in terms of like just how to save money and pay off debt at the same time. All right. So that's all I got for you guys today. If you got any questions or comments, make sure to leave a comment down below. Hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, guys. I hope that helped you out. I hope I answered your question. So you guys, take care and have a good one. Later.